So for this section of the course, I'm going to show you how to change the input settings of your project, and also how to add some things like the box collider or to review the box collider, and also add some of the things to the script that are going to make the character be able to jump. So when you're in your project, you're going to see that you have one of the things that's going to happen is once we start like hitting spacebar and a few other things, it's not going to be able to do very much. And we're going to get an error that says something about the input handler. So, one of the first things you'll want to do once you kind of have your character set up is if you go into edit, you're going to see this section that says project settings. And then you're going to look for the player, which is right here. And if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see a few options about the input system, which is right here. It says active input handling. Now, the first time you go into your project, it's probably going to be in the new. But what we want to generally do is use both so that it will register some of the things like the motion and the space bar and those types of commands that we would use in the tutorials. So once you have that, the next thing is we're going to take a look at the first element of the script that's in Unity Learn. And again, on my character, I have a box collider. You can see that I've edited this so that it looks something like this. And then I also have the rigid body. Now, the very first part of the script that I used is just to get and kind of test to see if the character moves. So what we went through is that you're calling the rigid body component, which are kind of like your physics and gravity, and you give it a name. So in Unity, you can use some of the components. But as they would mention in the tutorial, not every object in your scene is going to have those components. So when you press the play button, you want to make sure that you are calling that component so that you can use it. And then we've used the add force method to make the character move. So it'll look something like this when you first add those scripts. You can see the character just kind of goes up in the air and then they will come back down. And my character kind of landed in the cement right here, but we're going to fix that in just a second to give us a little bit more control over what our character can do. Okay, so I did make a few changes to my script. So one of the things that I did was I wanted to use the space bar to be able to jump. So you can see that for the website, we use the input.get key down, key code space. And then the component that we had in the previous section, which was essentially right here, the vector3 dot up times 10, we also added this force mode dot impulse in order to make the character move up. And so what happens when we do this, because now this is being called in the update method, which is once per frame, is if I go into my game, you're going to see that the character will jump now. Now, again, I am having a bit of an issue with the character kind of going a little bit through the floor, so I can change the box collider to make that. But you can see again, if I hit spacebar, the character will move. The issue is that I can double jump kind of infinitely. So they will eventually come down if I stop hitting spacebar, but they can jump really high. You can see finally they showed up. So what I'm going to do right now is I am just going to fix my box collider to make it maybe a little bit closer so that they are not able to just sort of fall through the floor like this. And I might, if I look right here, I might also use my transform just to bring the character up some. And let's see if that helps at all. And it takes a little bit of practice just to get an idea of where it collides. And that looks a lot better to me. So the next steps are to try to get the character to avoid double jumping. So that's what you're going to see in the next video, as well as changing a few things on the background.